Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan. Today we are doing another simple signal stream. Today's gonna be a good one. I'm very excited for what we have for Bitcoin. Hopefully, if you guys have been, keeping in touch with what's going on, I've been sending some messages in Telegram as well. We've got some interesting things going on in the current range we're in right now. We are pretty stuck where we are right now, but we have something promising coming up very soon, hopefully, which might help us to boost ourselves up a bit in terms of our price right now, because we're kind of stuck. We've been stuck for a bit now in this little range. So I've hopefully got some good news for everyone on the stream today as to what's going on with Bitcoin and where I think we can go to and what prices this and the other. Before we get into it though, put your coins in the chat. We've got any coins? I can't think of anything else to say, but if you've got any coins, put it in the chat. Put it a couple times if you're on Binance, because the chat goes pretty fast and there's a lot of spam there. So put it a couple times. I will read it out when I've seen it. If you do want me to cover any coins externally, I normally try to spend about 30 minutes-ish on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and then move on to suggested coins and whatnot. And obviously, if there isn't, then we'll just look over Bitcoin again, this, that, the other, and then we'll move on. But if you've got any coins, put in the chat. I do want to obviously keep it to the time frame we are allocated. So hopefully, I'm not going to cover too many, because I do want to end it at 10 o'clock. But if you've got any coins regardless, put it in the chat. Last thing as well. Last thing. Description of wherever you're watching, YouTube or Binance, there is links down there, especially the Telegram one. That is the most important one. That is where you will find us. That is where you can talk to us. That is where our charts get placed. This, that, the other. Any questions or any charts I cover today and you want to see it externally or this, that, the other, do come to the Telegram. Do ask me. I can send it over. And if you do want to support the channel, come over to YouTube, $2.99 a month. It is the membership area. If you do want to support channel, then you don't have to. There's no requirement for that, this, that, the other. But there are benefits to becoming a member. And if you don't want to do anything, the most I can ask for someone for free is to like the stream, come subscribe, or follow on Binance as well. Come subscribe to YouTube, turn notifications on, because it's a mutual thing here going on right now. We do some great content. So if you do want to keep watching us, you think this stream's good, or any of the other streams are good, give us a follow. But I think that is it of me yapping. I've kept it to a slight intro today. It's been pretty good. I'm not in a messing about mood today. I think we should just get straight into it. Have a look at some percentages, see what's going on for Bitcoin, and then we can move on to the actual charts in a minute. So 63,647. Let me refresh the page to make sure I'm not got some late data or anything. 63,641, 647-ish price right now currently. For Bitcoin, 0.27% on the 1 hour. Actually, 1% down on the 24 hour. That makes sense. I mean, we're in this range. It's not really much moving. 7 day, 7.8%. Really big pump. You obviously might be able to see it on the right-hand side. If my head's not covering it, right there. You can kind of see a little preview of how our movement's been. Obviously, nothing in great detail. But regardless, 2,700 for Ethereum, so still below that 2,800 mark, which has been going on for a long time now. Really important mark. We have not, well, obviously we're hovering it right now. 2,600 is really important as well. I've talked about this many times. You can see there's similar action to Bitcoin. Obviously you can see these two little things. You can hopefully see it on the screen. It looks like there's a bit of a wick in this similar movement, so I'm wondering to see where that actually got us to. Maybe it's 2,800 as well. I'm very interested to see what that is. Solana 158, very good price as well. Very good. 10.6% up in the 7 day. I do believe Tariq has asked if he should sell Solana or whatnot right now. So I will be going with Solana in more detail. So it's probably Bitcoin and Solana. We pretty more detail. Ethereum, I'll skim over it, this, that, the other. But normally what happens on these streams, I'll do a bunch on Bitcoin. I'll spend so much time on Bitcoin. And what normally happens is that kind of carries over to the other charts and other coins. So that's probably what will happen. I can almost probably guess who the major loser is Toncoin right now. If you don't know why, the current... I think there might be an article here, actually. Is this an article? That's a post. Okay, well, I'll read it. So, obviously, Telegram found out Pavel Durov arrested in France. Ton dropped 16%. I think there was something going on in France. I actually don't really know. I believe there were some other CEOs there as well. So, they arrested him for the founder of Telegram. If you do use Telegram, that is our platform as well. So, obviously, go over there. There's some other things going on. So there's some things, but obviously Toncoin is obviously majorly related to this Telegram, so it's clear to see why we've gone on so much. So this is a bit of an outlier. So, unfortunately, if you have had Telegram, I've actually got a link in the chat. Can I copy this? I think I might be able to. Oh, brilliant. No, that's not what I want to look at. What is that? Hold on. Give me a second. I've got a link sent to me by our admin. So I want to see what this is really quickly. So voila. So I think this is probably an article on the arresting of this guy who owns Telegram, and subsequently the effects it's had on Toncoin, which obviously makes sense. Let me go find it real quickly. Can I copy link? There we go. That should work. This should be it now. YouTube. Okay, no, here we go. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, here's the article. I'm admin. Yeah, there you go. So this is an article. Yeah, same thing I've just said. Telegram CEO arrested, tied to... Oh my god. Jesus, I hate websites like this. I'm literally pressing... Okay, you can't see it on the screen. There is a show notifications button on the top left. And it's not disappearing. So, absolutely brilliant. Telegram CEO arrested, tied to cybercrime investigation of unauthorized cryptology service, says French authorities. I think he's got the book thrown at him, to be honest. I think, from what I've heard, me and Mike were talking about it earlier. Apparently, he's got everything thrown at him. He's got certain media he shouldn't have, and he's got this, that, the other. He's got some importing a cryptology tool, ensuring authentication of integrity. So about something else. Maybe what's probably happened is he's not allowing governments to see what's going on Telegram, and they're probably throwing the book at him. I'm not getting political here or anything, so let's move on really quickly before we do that. So that is obviously why Toncoin is going down. So unfortunate if anyone does own it, but I'm sure it will recover in this, that, the other. I'm sure when he gets out, it'll pump something like that. So the last thing I do want to go on to before someone said, Sunjoy, so much, love you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Really do appreciate that. What I do want to go on to have a little look at before we move on to the chart properly is we have this. So I looked at this. I believe I looked at this on the stream. I think if I didn't, my fault, but I'm pretty sure I did. So this is by Matthew Hyland. This is it's like a wedge. I can't remember what the name is on. It's one of these wedges. I can't remember what the name is exactly. It's like probably one of these bullish falling wedges. Yeah, kind of. It's basically like a falling wedge, bullish falling wedge. So, you know, I can get where it's going at, but when I got sent this by Mike, I just didn't see it. I really don't see it, you know, because it's you can see how uniform our price has been in terms of our highs. You can see on my mouse, obviously this one's a big wick. This is our establishment price. You know, this is our rejection block, which we've been using. I will get onto this in a minute. It's this big red area here. This is our rejection block. We've seen bounce, 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 bounce. You can see we've been using this rejection block pretty well. Obviously, we formed another one here, which we then bounced off immediately here. I talked about that on Telegram as well. I highlighted this here. Obviously, talked about it. I think it's one of these ones, maybe. Obviously, used it here. Obviously, wicked up here to this higher rejection block. But again, I'm going to go into it in a second. So I saw this. I get it, but I don't get it. I don't personally think it's right. Even if I draw it again, you can see, like, it's invalidated. It's not right. Even with this one, okay, this goes from this bottom to this bottom. You know, this bottom to this bottom. You can see. Okay, well, you can't really see it because it's being covered up. Let me make it like orange or something. No, let me make it something bright you can see. Jesus Christ. There we go, that works. So we make both these lines this so you can really see what this is. So you can see this. So this is the wedge. It's really messy. I'm sorry about that. What I could probably do actually is hide this big old thing in my way. This. There we go. Oops. There we go. So you can see these red lines are the wedge. You can see this this line. Why is this orange? It's horrible. There we go. Actually, I'll make it purple. My purple's a bit better. As you can see, this main line here and this bottom line down here. So I don't see. You can see, number one, we've completely invalidated here. We printed outside of it. More importantly, although we have wicked greatly outside of it, we mainly. Let me zoom in a bit, so you can see this guys properly. You see, we did print out of it. Not only that being the negative part about this, but also the big old wick outside. And then on the flip side, nonetheless, even though, number one, this was way too small, you can see these bottoms are just, like, this is where the consistency is, like these bottoms. And then there's just a big one, which kind of just makes it difficult. And then number two, multiple wicks outside of it. And we've printed out it, like, multiple, this is hourly, you know, 1, 2, 3, we print out like 5 hours in a row. We've printed outside this area roughly. So I just don't see this as much. I said it when I saw it as well. I think last stream when I talked about it, if not, between me and Mike on the Telegram, I just don't see this as the chart pattern. I'm not against the fact that we can't be. Let me delete these lines as well because this is not here. I'm not against the fact that we can't be bullish. I don't think I'm a bearish person right now. Although I do need to show. Do I have two of these? Oh, I can delete this one. That's what I can do. I'm not bearish by any means. We do have a line which suggests... I'm going to go on to all this in like 30 seconds. Just looking at the chat really quickly. See if anything's going on. There about anyone alive? You know what? Fair question. There's a lot of bots in the chat. Someone just saw my hi. Hello. Glad you can join us on the stream. Okay, so nothing in the chat. Don't matter. So, I'm actually going to go to the chart now. Let me close this. Like I said, I just don't see it. I mean, yeah, I get it. I don't see it. But I'm not going against his price area, which is 67,500 here. Also, sorry if you can hear the aircon in the background. It's really, really hot here right now. Turn the music down a bit. There we go. There we go. I don't disagree with this price. I do have it drawn up here in a pink for some reason. I do have this area. I believe it is some order block or somewhere. You can see there's two tops here. I have this area. This is a good area for me, which also lines up with 67. He's got 67. He's got about 67, 750 probably is his main area. See the midpoint, bottom of it. I have the exact same area. Not only do we have this daily order block where the top is 67, 750, we also have this secondary area. I believe this is on a lower time frame. We have something, yeah, you can see a double area here, which also has its middle point at 67, 750. So I think 67, 750 is a really important area. Not only that, we've talked about 67, 750 like a month ago when we were putting, not maybe a month ago, maybe the start of this month, basically. When we were doing all this, I said the important price was 65 this area, and we had this one up here, which is 67. So I don't disagree with his price exactly. I just think the movement's going to be a bit different from what is suggested with that chart pattern. I just think it's going to be a bit different. So we'll close this and the crypto club market cap, and then we can move on to just the charts. So what do we have up? We have the these levels here. Actually, I don't really need these up right now, so we can probably hide them. Get that back up. There we go. So we have two areas. So we have this main rejection block up here where you can see we've been bouncing off it a couple of times now. This main like sell area. Obviously, we formed this down here, which we used here and here. Obviously, we've now printed below it and then split. So now we're using it. So we're using it really well. As you can see, really nice midpoint there. Nice midpoint. Nice midpoint. So we can see we're really respecting this order block and the way it's being formed, and especially the midpoint at 63,633. So we also have this rejection block down here. You can see in this green where we can have a general area below us where you can see we enter back into it, general area, come back up, enter back into it, come back up a bit. So we're kind of in this range right now between this order block and this rejection block down here. Now the main thing I want to look at is on the daily. We have this main fair value gap or an inefficiency or whatever you want to call it. Now, this for me personally is being backed up by this amount of volume we have in this candle, so I'm not against it. And plus, secondly, regardless, and furthermore, whatever you want to say, we are slowly coming back into it. This is a good structure. You can see what happened is came to fill buy down here. I mean, I've talked about this already. This is the daily, so this is general price action. Formed all these sell candles as we're coming to fill buy. Now we're starting to fill these sell candles as we're coming up to buy. Forming buy candles as we're filling sell. We're going to fill this, eventually come up. So you can see we're in this good structure. We have formed our high, our low, and then we produced a high again. So obviously these are the highs up here on the general trend. You can see these are the highs. So you can see we need to break above 70,000 for us to properly be in this trend. And nonetheless, you can see we kind of have a double bottom W pattern here, bring us even up. And what have I said? I've said we finish off this accumulation phase, have a manipulation, and then distribution, we pump up towards our 85k, 90k range, whatever everyone thinks. Importantly though, where we go back into this, we have pretty much successfully finished doing all what we need to do over here. Obviously, you don't have to fill up an exact candle, or you don't have to fill up volume candles exactly to the T. You know, you can see like we have this volume here. We might be missing it, but you can see like we've had on the daily anyway, really nice double top here, equal highs, which is going to be really good for number one, not only liquidity, but for a suggestion that we have a change in direction and we start to move downwards. So this is back up that we move downwards. This is also, you know, a bit of it's not so much of a rejection block actually. This would be a rejection block down here actually, this 54k range, but regardless, anyway. We are moving down. Currently, you can see really nice, formed it, and we're starting to have this bit of an arc, and we're moving down. So we can either look at two prices for this. Consequent encroachment, middle points, whatever you want to say, which is roughly where this previous high was, which is quite nice. So that is a good thing to see. You can also see an order block lining up with a inefficiency is something as well to bear in mind. And you can see the bottom of that is the midpoint. So 62,500 is a good area for me, but this is a big candle, and you can see the bottom of it could be 61,437. And what can we have there? Well, we can see we have relatively equal highs here, and here on these 3 day candles. So we have a decent area down at coming towards maybe 61.5, not only 62.5. So we've got a decent range down here to come down to fill this gap. It doesn't necessarily have to be a come down all the way to the middle. We could wick into it and then come all the way back up. But I think looking at what we have, especially these highs, the size of the candle, the order block back here, where the bottom of it is to this midpoint, I think we come to midpoint of this fair value gap and then move upwards again. So, it's more so of a, if you don't think of it inefficiency, it's kind of a, you can see normal market structure. We've had our high, we're going to produce a higher low and then continue onwards. That's basically the market movement we're doing right now. I don't really see this as something bad. You can see we're properly in our market movement now. We're properly in a higher trend, bullish trend on the daily. Obviously you could say this is the trend. We're still technically in our downtrend on the super high because we haven't surpassed this 70,200 line here. However, within this movement upwards, you can see down, up, down. You can see we've surpassed this high here, which is why I've highlighted it. And now we're moving upwards. So we could be in our mini uptrend before we come down. But again, you could also attribute this to some sort of, rising wedge. I think this is where you could have these candle bodies, which then bring us back down to this low. We could go back to 49k. I'm not saying we do this. I'm just saying in the open right now. So you can see if we quickly draw this, you can see that from this downwards movement, we could have a rough equal low down here, which could be also good for us as well, if you can consider it. This downwards movement up to here, downwards movement again, back upwards. So this could be good equal low area before we come up again. So we could have a movement downwards if we don't follow through with this gap. Now, obviously, gaps aren't something which are set in stone. You have gaps all the time which don't follow through. For example, this gap was respected well, to be fair. You can see the candle bodies are really, really respecting it. Obviously, we were below it. But there's many here, for example, this is technically a gap. Not very big, though, but nonetheless, it's a gap. You can see, we didn't really respect it. We just continue onwards. So there's always going to be times where they don't really get fully respected. This isn't bad. You can see, came to the midpoint, came down again, then came up. So, but what I'm trying to say is they don't always have to be followed, one-to-one. So we could fall through this. I'm just leaving it in the open here before I completely make my assumption. And obviously, we could have this some sort of chart pattern where we have this wedge here coming down below back to 49k. We could even slip below it. If you have no support down here, which we technically could, then we could be seeing our lows. But I don't really think so. I don't think we have this. I think we're in a good position. So although we do need to see, if we don't hold this, we could be following through with this pattern, and we could continue onwards down all the way to these lows. But again, you can also see the bottom of this gap where we could potentially see, if we finish it off on a daily candle, the bottom actually meets where this candle is. So you could see we could potentially have, if we follow through with this rising wedge, you see our bounce here, bounce here, bounce here. We could come down to fill it fully, which would be 61.5, and then come up again. But I mean, that would be good for the hourly time frame. You short it, then you long it. If you do fill the gap fully, sorry, I don't know why I'm speaking like this. We could fill the gap fully, come up to fill the rest of this candle at 6% move up, and then come back down again. But then this would just be less positive on a whole. Let me actually draw this a bit better. Whoops. There we go. There's the bodies properly. There we go. So it's a bit better now, you can see. So we could fill it fully before we see our bottom. But again, this is a volume candle if you follow this. So the potential bottom could be 60,500 if you were to follow that regard, that we fully fill this. And again, we are technically having some sort of Bart Simpson. You can see really obvious Bart Simpson here. What normally happens with Bart Simpson, you normally have an equal movement down, then you had an upwards. So this would mean we would come to the equal low of this big movement upwards, which obviously, if you look back, would equal on this candle, if we finish it tomorrow, let's say, about where this range finishes off in this rising wedge. So I don't want to say we're in a rising wedge because this means more negativity, but I can't ignore it. You know what I'm saying? I can't ignore that it's here. I can't ignore that we could potentially have it, this, that, the other. But from what, I'm not going to look at this right now. I'm going to leave it on the screen. But if we go back to lower time frames, we can continue RTA. We do have that gap where we could probably see 62.5, at least for Bitcoin, and then maybe come back upwards. So it depends, though. It does depend. If we do see 61, whatever it is, down to this bottom, and then come back up to maybe fill, up here, fill 65, we could have a long road down, potentially, if we follow through with this rising wedge. But regardless, I'm ignoring that. If we just completely ignore that, obviously in our range right now, we have this, we're stuck in between this order block and this here. I reckon this order block will get flipped, potentially. I mean, you can see we're kind of doing this. We're starting to come down now. So this could be our move down. We could eventually fill this. Rejection blocks aren't something which are crazy strong anyway. And it's not really, you can see, I mean, to be fair, the order block is what's stopping us. But we formed this, and then we had our movement upwards. But we only had so much movement because of this resistance we have here. So I could see our bit of a hovering and then fall below this. So I could eventually see us fall below this this block and then continue downwards to fill this gap down here. So I could eventually see us short for Bitcoin. In terms of what would signal it, I mean, what we're doing right now is pretty not very positive in terms of we're pretty stuck below this order block. We can't really get up. Yeah, we tested the bottom, we found that resistance, and then we came down more. So we've just put a lower high and lower low, and you can see like low high, well lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Probably putting our lower low in. Obviously, highs up here somewhere. If we go on the lower time frames, you can probably see it a bit better. Yeah, high, low, high, low, high, low, low, high. Probably do our high now. So continuing downwards again. So unless we break these equal highs, which would be obviously good liquidity. So this could be good liquidity. You can see if we had an equal bottom, surpass this, maybe coming to these lines up here, filling the order block, we could then see our uptrend. So if we draw this properly to actually show it, this could be the potential if we did have this as our where's it gone? Oh, I didn't. There we go. This is our normal structure so far. You can see we're starting to have a bit of a higher low here. Okay, this is actually hard to draw because it's not on screen properly. There we go. This is better. You see we're doing a higher low now, so you could regard this as a head and shoulders. It's all pretty much the same thing. So if we are coming up now, let's say, if we surpass these highs, equal highs, number one, this would be good liquidity. Number two, this would mean we'll do a higher high, which means if we put a higher low in, maybe at this midpoint or the bottom, we could then be in an uptrend back up to here, just on the lower time frame, just what I'm looking at right now. Obviously, if we don't, then we could probably break below this. But the fact we're doing a higher low could suggest we are in the works of putting in a higher high and then continuing onwards in our movement upwards then instead of downwards. So we could have something like this. We could have equal highs again and then come back down. So we could have a little bit of a range formed, and then whatever we kind of sweep, we could come back down again to 63 and then come all the way up. Again, I just think we're still in this range. Looking at what we have right now, if we potentially do a higher high, then I think we're going to stay in this range continuously. But I think on the higher time frames, and as we're doing right now, I think we do eventually come down a decent proportion, back towards, if we look on the 4 hour, for example, this range is actually giving us the midpoint at 62.9, for example. So I just think somewhere in here, 62.5, we eventually come down to. So that would be 1.7% move down. So I do think we fall eventually. It's either now or not. But you can see the general movement we can have. We've had a pretty decent movement now, so we could have a move back up to the rejection block. But hey, we will see what happens. But I'm waiting for us to fall. I think at this point, for me, it's just waiting for a confirmation that we're falling or we're reversing this, that, the other. We're breaking out this Bart Simpson or whatever, and then we're just going to come down to this gap, either invert it, because we could. That's the potential. Obviously, fair value gaps. This is not the problem with fair value gaps, but it's something you can't just trade off and put a limit by, and you have to kind of watch it a bit. We could we could flip it, come down towards 61. And then come back up to the midpoint, and then that's our inverse fair value gap, and then we're in a downtrend then. And then obviously, you could suggest we could put in this head and shoulders, and then come back down to 49k, where this equal low could be, and then come back upwards again. There's that potential. There's potential for it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it's in the books. You can see we could have something like this, where we, because remembering the neckline, it can be an angle, so you can see. So we could have something like here, maybe coming down to the bottom. So okay, cool. We come 60,500. but that's flipped the fair value gap. We could then potentially, come up back into it, maybe even fill it potentially back to 63, and then come down again, because then it's switched into a bearish area of sell then, which then brings us down, surpassing this, liquidity, and then, bring us back up maybe towards 58.5, and then coming down again back towards this low, because we've had our head and shoulders, and then we've come back towards 49k. There's potential for it. I'm just reading out what I'm seeing. If I draw it quickly, there's an angle for it. You can see, like, I haven't drawn this pretty well, actually. Let me draw this properly. So going off the candle bodies, you can see there's potential for it. We could come down. The neckline is something which is variable, which then also means the fall is going to happen very soon, a lot sooner. So right shoulder could be 62.4, or like I said, 63.5, back up to fill the entire thing, and then obviously we come all the way down. I'm just this is just what I'm drawing for. We come below this low we had, and then do a high and then do a low. So there's that potential. Just looking at it as something there. We've got this rising wedge, so that kind of backs up what we're talking about here. So I think this gap is going to be what's dependent on if we do this or not, and we're positive or not. Because if we don't flip it, then like for example, if we come to 61.5, if we don't gun below 61.5 with our candle body, that is, then we could see our movement upwards and then continue onwards. But again, even if we see 61.5, we're still in this rising wedge, so we could fall again. So there's just a lot of negativity potentially for this pan. And like I said, going back to that chart pan I saw with the rising wedge, or the falling wedge, sorry, I just don't see it as something that strong. I really don't. I think we've invalidated it. I think he's holding on too much to it. If I go back to it, I don't know if I can go back to it actually, because is it this one? Yeah, like going back to it, I couldn't hold on to this. We've already printed below it more than enough. It's not like it's been a wick below and we've done this, that, the other. We've come below this chart pattern so hard. I don't think it's valid. I don't think we're going to form this. And again, this is on the 1 hour. What matters more? 1 hour chart patterns, cool. Okay, we pump, but the higher time frames are what is more stronger, or stronger than the lower time frame. So looking at this, we could potentially form this head and shoulders, or this flip of an inefficiency, coming back into it to fill it, come down again, sweep this low, come back up again to these equal lows here at a resistance point, and then come back down again. There's potential for it. Like I said, this lines up with number 1, the rising wedge, number 2, the head and shoulders, which would form, number 3, inverted inefficiency. There's a lot which could happen negatively if we don't hold this 61.5 area. If we don't hold it, again, going back to what I said, I know I'm very conflicted here, but if we hold 62.5 or 61.5 and come back upwards towards 64, 65, filling the rest of this candle, we have less negativity, but we're still negative. We need to break out this rising wedge if we don't want to see a negative move, personally. But anyway, I've yapped. Let's go on to. I'm gonna look at Ethereum for like 30 seconds because I want to do Solana because I know it's been asked for. I should probably go on some overchart actually, because that's where everything is. There we go. Actually, I want to see where the liquidations are really quickly, just to see if we've got any update on that. I do want to see that. Let me check the balance in the chat normally. I haven't done that in a second. So do the bar, man. What? I don't know what is going on in Binance. Bart Simpson, do the Bart, man. I don't know what's going on there. I'm just going to ignore that. So I didn't read that. Mike said 1 hour chart and 6 hour chart is different. A lot of confusion. Yeah, I mean, what my kind of assumption, what I just gave then, to be fair, is a bit of it's a bit of a conflict there, to be fair, because we've got the lower time frames which potentially could show positivity. We've got that inefficiency where if we hold it, that will be positivity again. But nonetheless, even if we hold that inefficiency, like I just talked about, we're still in this rising wedge, which could potentially, in the next couple of days, bring us down back towards these low areas, which I don't want to see. And I have seen some people talk about coming down quite far on YouTube as well. So there's potential for it. I've seen other people talk about it. It just depends on if because inefficiencies, they're not something which is set in stone. If you look at inefficiencies, like, okay, well, we either hold it or we don't hold it. So it's either a positive or negative thing. It's like, really? So again, it just depends. It really does depend. But we've got positive volume on that candle of the inefficiency. So I'd like to think we hold it. But again, if we hold it, come back upwards, then You know, I think the safest bet would be shorting from our position right now to come down to the fair value gap. So either you get out at the midpoint of it, you get out at 61.5, you get at 60,500, you get out at one of these levels, depending where you come to. Safest would be 62.5. Best case scenario is 60,500, but that would be worst case regardless. So, you know, if we come to 60,500, you might as well not get out, because you could wait and ride it all the way down to 58k or wherever the price is of the low. You know, and then if you're at 58k, you've got the head and shoulders, you've got the sweep, you've got the negative movement downwards in the market. So at that point, you might as well wait to 50k. So it's one of those things, you know. It's one of those things. But anyway, what is going on? What? Why is the data not there? I think it's a bit bugged or something. Let me refresh. That's weird. Why is the white data not there? That's really weird. I'm on the perpetuals. I guess I'll do Binance, whatever. Okay, there we go. So cool. So what have we got? Not really much. You know, it's kind of hovering. You can see big movement downwards again, big movements downwards again. We're kind of hovering. Came up. Obviously, prices going up, volumes going up. So these are obviously longs. Obviously came down, finished these off. I've already talked about this though. You can see we've actually pretty much come to the 10x area. And what if I talked about this this big candle on the daily? Well, where's the top of it? You know, if we draw a line from the top? I know this is in black. I'm sorry. It's basically the same area. It's within like a $200. So again, 10x area does line up pretty well. But you know, not really much data here, to be fair. Not really much data in the slightest. You can see general volumes going down as this is going up. So people are shorting. So we could have a movement up again, which is like I said already. If we have this higher high of this Bart Simpson area, I do think we can have one more high moving upwards back to the rejection block of you know, to 65k area, which we've already came to. Just could come back to 65k again from where we are before we come down again. So you know, if we had that, let me just delete these. I don't really care about them right now. It doesn't matter to me. Let me draw this quickly. So, you know, start the move upwards. Let's say it's about, you know, this area. We want, obviously we want, if things are going down, we want short liquidations. So where would the areas be? What's it? Where's? Oh, because it's a different position. Right, okay. So we don't actually want it there because it started from about here. So short liquidations, again, 50x is at 65k again. If it starts to come up again from here, you know, where does it come to? From here, for example. Again, 65.5, which is the rest of this big candle, which I've already talked about. So we could come up again. 100x would be about 65k again. So we could liquidate the shorts, you know, on the you know, the fast people who are doing these 100x's. We could liquidate them really quickly on these candles back to 65k for the rejection block. But you know, again, it depends. Jesus, I've spent way too long time on Bitcoin. All right, what are we doing? 2,800. Yeah, we've wicked to it. This is what I thought we did when we looked at it. Yeah, really good resistance at 2,800. Already talked about 2,800. Again, it seems like we've come to fill these here, so this is pretty good. You know, you can see we're kind of in this upwards trend, probably filling the rest of this and then coming back up again. Maybe seeing some sort of difficulty again, having some sort of double top, coming back down to maybe order block. You know, could have something like that. You know, kind of a double top scenario coming back down. If we fill these buys, come back upwards, producing, you know, filling the sell again, coming back towards 2,825 area, come back down again for this double top towards this order block again. We're still outlining this area. You know, if we do have this big negativity we could potentially have on Bitcoin and, you know, the rest of it all, then we could see, you know, pretty big negativity for the market as a whole. So I guess it does depend. What are we doing here, actually? Let me have a little nosy. Yeah, so this is a good example of what I was talking about in terms of flipping. Oops. You can see we had this inefficiency here. To be fair, we did come back into it, and then, you know, obviously came back into it, came up again. So to be fair, we have flipped it. It's not a scenario where we came up, immediately came back down, where we would probably come back into it and then come down again as a resistance line, or resistance area, I should probably say. it's not really much. I'm trying to show if there's any examples of that, which is not really anything. So yeah, I think we could have something like that. You know, depending on what the market does. If we have the potential positivity in the market, we do actually probably go up. It would probably be, it's on the daily, so it'd probably be filling the rest of this candle actually, which is actually at 2,623, which is actually the same as this low anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Coming back down to here, coming back up again, so similar to the daily, filling this, the rest of this, coming back up again, and then maybe coming down in time for everything else. But you can see we're in this, I think this is a chart pattern actually, I think this is a negative chart pattern. So if I draw it quickly, you can see this is a bearish expanding, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, bearish expanding triangle. So we could potentially have something like this. You can see bearish expanding triangle. We fall below. This could CR 2,460. I've talked about 2,460 for a while. I've been waiting for this price to be something we meet. So we have a bearish expanding triangle, which we could allow ourselves to meet at that area again. Like I just said, like I said already, Bitcoin flips its inefficiency, uses its resistance. We could fall below, following through the rising wedge, forming a head and shoulders. Sweeping into a downtrend, and then obviously, you know, finishing off the inefficiency. There's a lot of potential negativity, as I've already talked about. I don't want to keep on saying the same thing over and over again. That's kind of it for Ethereum. I'm really going to quickly move on to Solana now, because it's something I need to actually talk about, because I actually have someone who wants to know if we're going to be flipping anything soon. All right, let's have a little nosy. So, order block, holding it strongly. Support line, holding it strongly as well. Just good. Let me check the chat, actually. Nothing in YouTube, pretty quiet. Moshe Gibb, hello. Hello to you. Glad you could join us. Someone just said dirt. Maybe that's a mistranslation. So thank you very much. Hopefully that was something else. I love the British accent. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, you know, I try. Sometimes I do it though. To be fair, I try and not speak too fast. I know some people aren't, you know, native English people, so I don't want to speak too fast. But I just can't help it sometimes. But thank you, appreciate that a lot. I do need a drink now. But yeah, go back to Solana. Seems like we're having a bit of a double top. You can see this kind of like rough, a lot of highs, equal highs here. So this is good, you know, for something which could, you know, if we quickly wick above it, we could see our good low there, especially here because, like, you know, these lines here haven't successfully surpassed this. So if there was a scenario where we came to like 163, that would be a good sign for me that we would start to come down again. But we've got a lot of buy here. You can see we had sell back here, which we tried to come back to fill. If I go to the daily, there's probably some volume somewhere on the 1 hour maybe. There's volume back here. You can see we've slowly come back to fill it here, and then some back to this order block. Try to come to these areas. Haven't successfully done that because we've had this big old order block in our way. So, you know, the normal market structure, as I've talked about, volume candles, they, you know, they form as we continue onwards in the market. So we could see, this is actually a really good fair value gap here. So you can see we're probably going to have cascading inefficiencies. You can see formed this one, came back into it, came up. The next one down is here. So if we look at this, and it's the entirety of this candle, so we could come towards, you know, $151 to $150 and then come back upwards again. So this would just show us that we had so double top, downtrend, you know, retracement, downtrend back to, oops, actually let me draw that again. Bang, 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 downtrend 150, maybe resistance back at 155, come back down to 147, resistance at order block somewhere, continue onwards again, filling the rest of the candles to fill the cascading things here. So we could have something like that. To back that up, though, you can see we've got a consistent order block. You know, we've got a strong order block here. So if I draw it quickly, a really nice order block here. You can see we've been using it nicely. And where does that go to? The midpoint? Midpoint goes to exactly where I just said, roughly. So a decent trend could have potential. So to answer Tariq's question, paying attention to what the market potentially will do if we come down. I think we're going to come down anyway. I think Bitcoin's going to come down to its inefficiency. I think Ethereum's going to come down because we're decently high right now at resistance. So we're at resistance. We have a double top. We have a lot of inefficiencies which the market is going to be drawn to fill. I think we're going to come down. So in terms of if you want to sell this, in terms of acting upon Solana, you know, over the next coming, you know, 2 or 3 days, you could sell. In terms of the daily, we're pretty high as well. You can see, as I've already talked, I talked about this last stream actually. The double top we right now have. I talked about filling this. I talked about coming back up to $162. We have a double top on the daily. Bitcoin, rising wedge, head and shoulder potential, liquidity to sweep, inefficiency to flip potentially. Ethereum, we have 2,450 to come back to because that is an inefficiency. We have a strong resistance to 2,800. There's so much on both Ethereum and Bitcoin to suggest we could come down. Not any dissimilar to Solana. We have this here, which could bring us all the way back down to $110. I'm not a negative Nancy. I'm just looking at what I potentially see. I could be wrong. I could be right. Bear that in mind. None of this is financial advice. I always say that all the time. But we do have this double top. I can't ignore it. It's relatively equal highs here. This is going to be good liquidity if we sweep up again. You can see, double highs here. If we come back up to, like I said, $163 area, we could then see our downtrend, especially on the daily. So, again, to answer your question, now could be a good time to maybe have a shortish term sell of Bitcoin, of Solana, maybe the next couple of days. Even weekly, like, we had an inefficiency we've barely come to. 160, again, what did I just say? I said 163. I'm going to bump that up, actually, to 164. We have the slightest inefficiency, which finishes off 165, 164. So 163, 164 could be a good potential, not only on the weekly, not only on daily, but on the lower time frames cascading. A good price point to come to where we have a lot of things which line up on many time frames for a downwards movement for Solana. So could be a good time to get out, to buy back in later on for Solana if we do come down. Not financial advice. Please don't take any of this seriously. I'm just seeing what I'm seeing. I could be wrong. I've been wrong sometimes. I've been right sometimes. So obviously bear that in mind. All right, I've yapped. 9:42 right now. So I've about 12 minutes over when I would normally like to finish off for Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum. But regardless, let me have a quick look through the chat, see if there's any coins people want me to look at. If not, I can just probably go look at like Mew or something, smaller coins. But here's another opportunity for if someone hasn't done this so already to suggest a coin. Also, there's quite cool people in YouTube. So if you do want to, say hello, then do say hello. If you want a coin covering, just put it in the chat. I haven't seen any yet. If I've missed it, obviously I do apologize. If you could please put it again, then I would greatly appreciate that, and then I can have a look at it. So yeah. Well, in the meantime, I shall wait. I'll go back to Bitcoin actually. That is a wrong chart. There we go. See what we're doing. Back on the 1 hour. Actually, I'll do it on the 15 minutes so we can really see what's going on. 15 minutes is a good time frame. So we've done the high and we're coming down again. So, really, really well structured market right now. Really well structured. So it's a higher high or a higher low, sorry, but it's still got potential for, movement. I mean, to be fair, this could be like a double bottom, actually. You know what I'm saying? So, instead of it being we should have done a high, this could be, downtrend, 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 double bottom because of this rejection block, coming back up again, flipping this. Because again, bear in mind, this is the rejection block, just like this other one, which we bounced off here, 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 here. This is actually order block, actually, to be fair. But you can see the amount of resistance, not only, like, if you could buy these rejection blocks and this order block, you can see, like, obviously formed it. Bounce, 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 bounce. So good right now. Really good. You know what? Even though the market doesn't do anything, I really respect these sorts of market conditions where you can just do high leverage. Just, we've gone to this. It's so structured. It's like, okay, where are my boundaries? I've got, 64,343 to 65 area up here. I'm going to wait till we come to the order block, see a candle or two of negativity, see some confirmation, and then just short. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really good structure. It's just a really nice area to just take longs and shorts. There's obviously going to be potential for these wicks, but again, I could have seen this. You can see low here, low here, low here. Obviously, didn't do a low here. It was just time to sweep this. You can see eventually sweep this. This is something you wait for. This is something you wait for. These are some certain areas. And again, here we did the same thing. Like, you can see general area of highs, sweeped, came down, sweeped, came down, sweeped, came down. So this was just a sweep here for a sweep here. This was a really good potential. So you can see, okay, you wait for this sweep, we come down to next point of support. So you can see maybe this is some sort of order block or whatnot. You come to long at 63.68, and then you ride it all the way up to previous highs back towards here. So again, a good structure here. So, So much as high love dogs. I like dogs too. I do like dogs. I'm not really much of a cat person than a dog. Will ADA actually ever do anything? Well, let's have a little look. I'm gonna do this on the light mode because I'm already on it right now, so I might as well. Actually, I won't. I will quickly check if I've done previous TA. I'm pretty sure I have. Let me just quickly check what my last TA was, because it's been a while since I've done ADA. There we go. What was this? This is quite nice, actually. Good long. Look at that order block right there. Really, really nice. Really, really nice. Yeah, I drew this back there, to be fair, but I think it was back here when we were looking at it on a Thursday stream. Riding up away rest to this order block back up here. Really, really nice. I'm going to delete all these areas apart from this order block because this is really good. So, let's go to ADA. Will it do anything is the question. So, what do we have? We have a inefficiency which has been filled. So, we'll probably surpass this. You can see we're on our way down now. Probably from a decent area if we go back. Let's have a little look. Okay, cool. So, this is the 4 hour, so if it probably goes to 1 hour, you can probably see this is going to be something interesting if we move this here. 1 hour, you can probably see really good equal highs here. Really, really nice, actually. Really good equal highs. Sweep this, nice downtrend. Really, really good, just in general. So now, obviously, once you sweep this, you're now going to be slightly in a downtrend. So you're going to eventually look for, previous lows where you sweep it and then come down. Obviously, not saying you have a full structured thing, but can't ignore it. You can also look for gaps, which we formed on the way up. So you can see there's probably a gap here. I don't like it though, because you can see the gap which is formed at the top is it's bigger than this one. So I don't really like this gap too much. But you can see, even if we don't use it, to flip here. But again, bearing in mind, we've had a plentiful move down. So coming to 36 cents. It would make sense to come back up towards 37 cents and then, continue our way down back to this next area, potentially at 34.7, come back up to previous resistance and then come down again. So I think we're in a good trend downwards for Cardano or ADA. In terms of chart patterns, though, really quickly just to see if we've got anything going on. Similar movements to the rest of the market, though, to be fair. Nothing really too crazy. Looking at this sort of order block here, which is pretty interesting. Previous highs here look pretty good. I'm trying to see if there's anything consistent, anything interesting for me to look at. We've got this down here. Really, really good rejection block down here. Really nice rejection block. So this is going to be a general area between 30 cent, 29.25. General trend down here. General area down here where we're going to see a area. So it's when you have these. Also, this is a reverse pattern as well. When you see these rejection blocks and these areas where you have a really small body but really gigantic wick where you form these rejection blocks, it's not so much of an area where, okay, we have to come to 30 cent or have to come to 29.20. It's more of an area where you look, when you're within this area between 30 cent and 28 cent, you want to look then for situations or something to show you that you're going to start to reverse and come back upwards again. Obviously, order blocks are a bit more structured like that, where you either bounce off the bottom of it or the midpoint. Those are pretty structured. Those are really, really good. This is good here, actually. This is actually a decent example of a inverted fair value gap. So you can see, formed it. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Lad. I really can't find a good example of this. Because you can see, we formed it, came back into it exactly, and then just came right back up. Really, really nice. Movement back upwards for Cardano. And then obviously once you have that response of a fair value gap, you just have to delete it. You really just have to delete it. This ain't bad either. Actually, this is probably a lot better. You can see that this really bad. Here you can say, oh look, we're in a downtrend and we're forming it, but nope. This is when you start to use your levels to see if there's an order block anywhere, and to see what sort of trend you're in. So yeah, I'm trying to count the trend to see if we've got actually to be honest, it'd probably be a higher time frame a lot easier. I'm kind of going off on one here. I'm sorry. Right, there we go. So going back to see if we've got that fair value gap. So this rough area would where you want to see fair value gaps. So you can see this was actually pretty nice. So formed it, used it, went down. This is really, really good actually. Really, really nice levels here. But anyway, doesn't matter. I'm not looking at the past right now. Let's go back all the way to where we are right now. So yeah, I already talked about this. I think we're on this little downtrend right now. So it says we'll actually ever do anything. I think, you know, eventually we're gonna eventually just come down more. In terms of if you want to see like a long-term movement upwards, well, you know, it might take a wee while to do that. Actually, I want to see the weekly. I want to see what we've got going on right now. I want to see really what's going on. Again, market structure. What have I talked about? Just producing all these candles. Again, I'm not saying you have to fill these all the way. You know, if you're in this uptrend, you can come back to the low, back to the high. So, you know, we form all these and we fill them eventually till the market's satisfied to then continue onwards again. You know, obviously, you know, we're in this downtrend. So big moving downwards, move up, big move down, move up, big move down, move up, move down, move up, big move down. Market structure shift, up, boom, high, a lower low though. So this obviously flipped our market. So then this is where we pay attention to right now. So if we draw from where we are, downwards movement, you know, a bit of an upwards down, move up, down, move up. So we need a higher high above this order block, which again is what's important. So you can see this could roughly be where our high is. So now if we're in this downtrend, the next one would be our low. Maybe filling potentially. Again, this is the weekly. So rejection block or not, it's something important to bear in mind. So yeah, we could come down again to fill the rest of this 24 cent, but I think we're coming down again as the over market. This isn't really respecting the entirety of any of the market. It's really hot in this room. I'm sorry about that. I'm keep on looking over to my aircon to see if it's on. But yeah, I think we move down continuously back towards these levels I already talked about, towards this rejection block, and onwards and yeah, whatnot. So will it do anything? I think downwards movement is what we're doing. What the hell is this? Why is this volume so big? Maybe it's a glitch. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah. So that's basically it for that. Not really much more to say about it. Let's actually probably go to the hour just to see what's going on. If there's anything. I've already done the hour, haven't I? Daily. Anything on the daily? Good fair value gap on the daily though. Also lines up with some other areas, so you can see. It depends if we respect this. You know, 35 cents. What did I talk about? I talked about this area, coming towards this area, and then coming back up again. So, you know, come down into it, we could come back up. But again, it depends on what sort of trend we're in, if we're in this downtrend or not. You know, you don't really want to be finding gaps in long scenarios when you're negative. Well, to be fair, you know, it depends what you're, you know, if you're in a premium or a discount. Well, there you go. I mean, like, this is formed technically in the discount, so this might line up more. So if we actually not use these trash levels right now, you know, this is in the areas. Okay, so this is our range from this high to this low, and then we're kind of, you know, within this range. It's like, okay, cool. So we form this gap in below where would technically be considered a discount if you are considering this being the range, and then obviously we're going to use this technically to potentially come up. But again, equal highs, actually, to be fair, equal highs sweeps here, but this sweep was actually on the daily as well, bear in mind. This is actually an order block here, so we actually ignore this and just use this as an order block. So if it be anything, it would be okay, come back into this area on the daily, come back upwards, but then it'd probably be a lower high regardless, about 39.5 because of this order block, potentially 40 cent to be an equal high then, and then continue onwards. So either we do an equal high, come down, order block midpoint, come down, or we can bounce to the bottom of it and come down. Either way, this would be a resistance roughly, either this point, or this point. So 40 cent max, and then we come down again if we do follow through this. And again, this is below what is considered either premium or discount or equilibrium. But to be fair, equilibrium is a range. So if I go back to that a bit more of a detailed thing, you can see we're actually in equilibrium right now, and it's roughly in equilibrium going into mitigation block, which is when you flip an order block basically. Which isn't what we're doing right now. Actually, no, to be fair, order block, flip, we flipped it here. So this is actually mitigation block, potentially actually properly used it. So this is really good again, really, really good to use these levels. So anyway, yeah, I don't think we go anywhere. If we do, I think we do a lower high regardless in this kind of thing going on here. You know, we kind of have this, you know, normal downtrend, down, down. We actually do a higher high, but then we just do a low, low again. So we didn't really follow any sort of structure here. Downwards, upwards. I think boom, boom, coming down again for a double top, coming all the way back down. And again, if the market, though, to be fair, even though this hasn't really been following the market in the slightest, actually, no, this isn't following the market in the slightest, so I'm not going to bother talking about it. Apart from the big dump, which everything had, it's not really following the market. You can see we were crabbing when everything else was doing stuff. Also formed another order block on the daily at this range here. Really nice order block there as well, so, you know, good there. Actually, really good, you know, good rejection blocks here. You can see. Good rejection block, you know, came back into it, up, came back up, came back up, came back up. But eventually you do flip these order blocks, otherwise you'd never go anywhere in the market. Also formed another good order block here, which we used again, and then obviously, you know, came down. So, you can see though, like, this is technically in the, so okay, this structure, rejection block, order block, fair value gap. So you can see in this range is where the order blocks are supposed to perform. You can see our candles barely start in this order block range and then come down. So this is to show you that this is a good order block. Nonetheless, we also have this range up here, and regardless, so really good order block regardless. So bunch of resistance coming down. But again, ignoring that, I don't really care about that. I care about what we're actually doing right now. And as I already said, I think we have this, you know, move to do either equal highs and then come down, lower high and then come down again. But anyway, with the chat quickly. Adil, hi everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm doing really well, thank you very much. Hopefully you're doing amazing as well. Glad you can join the stream. I don't see any other coins though, so nothing really to look at. We are 4 minutes away from the end. Hopefully would be the end of the stream if I wanted to end then. Nothing in the chat either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close those charts and close all this. Go back to Bitcoin just to show where we are right now and, you know, our normal structure, what we're doing. So we're actually coming down, yeah, normal structure. We could see our Evo door bottom here right now. But yeah, this is a good structure. Really, really nice. It's been really, really good right now on Bitcoin. I'm really interested to see what happens here though. So you can see like really good downtrend, really, really good. High or low, not saying high or low doesn't necessarily mean you're in an uptrend now. You'd have to do a higher high than the previous high, and then obviously higher lows as well. But we have a higher high. We also have a lower high still. I'm interested to see if we do an equal high or an equal low, because that could mean we come all the way back up to this 63,761, which will just produce more liquidity at this order block, and it would probably mean we just come up to it and then come down. So it's a bit of hoverage and then come down again. So I'm really not too positive right now. I'm really not too positive not really much right now. That was great, mate. Thank you. I appreciate you for asking, because I didn't see any other coins, so I'm glad you found it useful. Again, none of this financial advice. I could be completely wrong. The market could do this, that, the other tomorrow. Some guy could come out and announce this, that, the other. Like, genuinely, things can just happen. So always bear that in mind. Always make sure you have proper risk management, because, you know, the majority of winning in the market is having proper risk management. And I'm not saying I'm a saint. I sometimes have terrible risk management. You know, there's just chance like that. Unless you've been doing something for ages and ages and ages, or you really, really structure yourself, there's going to be times like that where you just don't have it, you know, on the ball properly. But it's a numbers game at the end of the day. So if you have an 60% win chance, you need to make sure you have the risk management appropriate enough to be able to cover the losses when you win, you lose to 40%. Or if you've got 50-50, make sure you have your stop loss, 2-to-1, so that when you are winning, you're covering previous losses. But again, yeah, risk management is always really important. So yeah, anyway, I'm interested to see this. It could just been a fluke in the market, and we just continue downwards. But bearing in mind, again, this is a rejection block area. If we go back to the 1 hour, big wick, can't move, big wick, low. But again, the difference between this rejection block, which we've bounced off like 5 times, and this one is the fact that we've got this big stinking order block right above us, which we just can't get above, which is just really causing. I think it's an order block. Let me go up to 30-minute. I think it's. I believe it's an order block. I'm not mistaken, am I? Well, again, it's an area. It works. I don't care. It might not be an order block, but look, we're respecting it really nicely. So yeah, good lows here as well. Do we sweep this? Look at those lows though. Yeah, this is when you'd want to like wait for a long. But again, this guy, let's call out the market. Anyway, I'm gonna delete this because we actually sweeped it already. So yeah, I want to see what happens here. But regardless, I've already talked about, we've got, okay, it's actually turn 10. So I'm going to end it in the next like 2 minutes. So if I go back to the daily, just to give a final thing, I think we might come to the midpoint, but I really do want to pay attention to what happens, like, you know, either today or tomorrow, whenever it may be, when we come down to 62.5 and eventually flip this rejection block and come all the way down to these, you know, either consequent encroachments, because, you know, we haven't, you know, just wicked into the area. We're coming down. So I would either eventually see 62.482 or the bottom of it fully. Like I've already said, if we fill, obviously on the plus side, we fill this entire candle. But if we start to see 61k, 61.2, if we start to see anything below, regardless of if it's a wick, if we see something below 61.428, I'm not going to be in the best positive mood right, you know, for the market, because that isn't going to be very good in the slightest at all. It's going to mean we either bounce off rising wedge, we come back up again, but guess what? This is going to be inverse fair value gap. We come back towards 62.5, 63. You know, this can happen. You know, if I draw it, you've got a rising wedge, you're bouncing. You could have scenarios where you kind of have a midpoint where you don't actually bounce, and then you come down, obviously bounce off trend line and come down. I don't want that to happen, but there's potential for it. Not only will that happen, inverse fair value gap, rising wedge, we've got the head and shoulders, which I've just talked about. If that happens, if we come down to wherever it is, and we come back up, that could be our right shoulder, where we then, you know, if we see price below, print below 61.1, whatever it is, I'm going to wait for retracement back towards 62.5. And I'm going to do a short with a not so tight stop loss, because it could come back up even more to 63.5. Bear that in mind. And then we're going to ride it down. That could happen. Not financial advice. But again, we've got this rising wedge. I can't ignore this. I don't care about the other chart patterns on the 1 hour. We've got a rising wedge on the daily. Can't ignore it. So thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate it. You know, if you were here, you didn't comment, that's fine. You know, maybe for next time, if you do want to join, you did enjoy the stream. If you did enjoy it, please consider, you know, leaving a like or subscribing. Turn the bell on if you want to watch more. You know, maybe prepare a coin for next time. You know, I stream. It's Monday. We're doing something on Wednesday. Even though my streams will be Monday and Wednesday. So I think I'm going to do my next TA on Friday. So it'll be Monday, Wednesday, Friday we do stream. So Friday, pair your coins. Although, you know, if something big happens, I might do like an emergency stream on Tuesday or Thursday, whatever. Or, you know, no, I can't do Wednesday. I could do some TA on Wednesday because we have a normal stream on Wednesday in the evening. We also are doing a giveaway. If you don't know, we're doing a new giveaway. So, you know, come check it out. Yeah, if something big happens, if, you know, Bitcoin flips the fair value gap, we use it as resistance. We form a right shoulder. We start to come down. I will do TA. And I'll show you guys my probable position, because this could be a good entry. This could be a good setup. Yeah. I guess we'll see when what happens. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Join the Telegram. Public one, if you want to support channel, $2.99 a month on, on YouTube for the members area. You get a bunch of indicators. We've got channel signal. You know what? I should probably show them. I haven't shown them in a while. You get channel signals. Okay, so this is one. Let me give this a little bit of a promo. Okay, this is gonna be really messy, isn't it? Yes, you can see this is pretty decent. Pretty good, decent buy and sell indicators. I'm not saying it's some magic tool. Obviously, always bear in mind about you know. Also, there's many settings about it as well. You know, you can go on low sensitivity. You know, you can get buy and sell. High sensitivity, where you get a ton of things. You know, sell here, buy here. It's a bunch of collections. You've got some bands here, which suggest if you have a reversal or not. You know, once you've surpassed this band, pretty decent time for yeah, a high. You know, again, you come into these buy bands, you come up, buy band, come up. You know, it's just an indicator. If you want it, come get it. There's another one as well. Simple significance, really crucial, really important. Actually, I love this indicator. I don't use it because I find my own areas, but these give really good support resistance, really good support resistance lines, which are tested based on actual price data. It's just not only volume, but it's also price action. So if you want this as well, then obviously you can come get it at in the product Telegram. Also, you can see 2% padding on it as well. You can see really well used here and here. You can see here, use 2% padding, bounce here. So it's a good indicator. All right, it's a good indicator. So the last one, I think I have more I can show probably. I've got different ones. There's different ones. You know, there's really just different ones. So if you want to come get some of them, you're interested, then obviously come join the Telegram. If you just want to, obviously we have people talking in there. I post charts, so you talk in there. So, you know, if you do want to support channel $2.99 a month, then you can come join. If not, you can join the normal Telegram where everyone is, and, you know, join there. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate all of you. See you next time. Goodbye.